Hello. So today I'm going to show you the very last page of my journal. See, that was it. This took me a month and a half. The first page of it, I'm going to cover it up, but maybe you'll see it says The Artist Way, Week 1. And today I just finished all of my tasks for week 9. And it feels bittersweet. It feels bittersweet. Um, So the artist way was something I was so resistant to do, to start, to stay consistent with. And now I'm worried about it ending because I'm worried I'll get to a point where I stop pushing myself creatively. Um, there was a quote in it that said, there was a quote in week 9 that said, one second. Week 9, week 9, week 9, week. It's on page 156. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. Mm. Um, I'm not entirely sure what I was going to talk about today, but I do want to talk about the power of community and how this year has been a year of finding power in community. Oh man, I think I don't know that I've ever had a sense of community the way I have it now. When I was in high school, I remember having friends and people that I would talk to a lot. But there were people I would talk to in school, and there would be people I would talk to occasionally outside of school. And all my friends were great, the ones that I did choose to stay in contact with. Um, but sometimes it felt performative. And I think it was the same way in college. Um, and I feel so lucky to still have some of those friends. Um, because I think we've all grown in a way that's parallel to each other. And so that feels good to have those people in my life still. Um, And then when I did AmeriCorps, the first year, I felt a very strong sense of community. I was so heavily reliant on these friendships because I was so far away from family, and so were they. And I'm so grateful for the friendships I did make there because um, I don't know, it really shaped my wellness journey. It really shaped my mindfulness journey. And I think for many years, it's been slowly trickling away. I have not prioritized that sense of community. Um, yeah, I'll talk to people I work with just to be nice, but like I wasn't making lifelong friends like I did when I was younger. I was I was I was meeting people who I was so inspired by and interested in staying in touch with, but I never put myself out there. Like, I would love to stay in contact with you. I would love to, like, like check in on each other. Um, and I think I was doing that out of fear of rejection. I have had so many times in life where people would be like, "I'm sorry, what is your name again?" And where I should be like, "Names are hard." Yeah, here it is. I would kind of get discouraged. Um, and I actually remember one time in sixth grade, or yeah, sixth grade, there was this really, really cool girl. Her name was Jasmine, and uh, I'd known her name. See, the problem with being someone who remembers things is I'll bring it up and they'll be like, "How do you know that? You told me this," and it'll be something random about their life, or like, "You told me this," like, and well, I don't remember saying it. Well, how would I know then? Anyways, oh no, what was she saying? She was saying something to me, and I was like, "What is your name again?" And I knew her name. I knew her name, but for some reason I was worried she might not remember my name. So I was like, "I don't remember your name. What is your name?" And she was like, "Christina, you didn't know my name?" And I couldn't be like, "I'm kidding, it's Jasmine. I know it is." Like, and she was like, "Oh, it's Jasmine." And I remember feeling so bad after that. And in some ways, I think maybe I ruined what could have been a good friendship because I made them, I don't know, feel unimportant. And I recognize that, like, in on the opposite side of the coin, I have been the person who felt like, wow, you couldn't even remember my name, like. And so I think my fear of reaching out to people, or my fear of seeking community is rejection. So that's hard, and that's a hard lesson to learn at almost 30 years old. I I don't know that I would have this strong sense of connection with my community now, and my inner circle now, and the friends I have now, if I didn't lose a friend earlier in the year, that, like, made me realize, like, I want to be known exactly as I am, not as like some performance I've put on. I I also don't know if I would have this strong sense of community without my friend Day, who also creates content on here, Day and Night Studio. My friend Day, who reached out and was like, "You are someone I would love to keep in contact with this year. Are you interested in doing this thing?" And it was like a Waffle Wednesday video. And I just felt like, "Oh my God, wait, you want to be friends with me?" Like actual, like, keep up with each other kind of friends. That felt so nice to hear. That was so nice. Them reaching out and making me feel cared for in that way gave me the courage and confidence to reach out to some other people who I also had an interest in maybe one day being like either rekindling a friendship or becoming better friends with. And um I would say, of the like five people I reach out to, I think maybe a few of them are very consistent, more consistent than me, and a few of them are here and there, kind of like, life's busy, and I totally understand. I've been the friend who flakes out. I've been the friend who had a hard time communicating, and I would get to the point where I haven't responded so much or for so long that I just like, well, I just can never talk to them again. So I never want anyone to feel like that. Like, I'm still gonna reach out and I'm still gonna check in with you. Um, but there's like no pressure to respond. Like, I just care about you and I care about keeping a friendship alive. but I would have never maybe reached out to some of these people um, and started these bonds or rekindled these bonds, I think, without everything else that had happened. Um, but because of these Waffle Wednesday kind of, I mean, we do them every day of the week pretty much, you know. But because of these kinds of things, I've been doing monthly art projects with my friend Day, and it feels like that's the art I really, really lean towards, and I would have never known it. I also do the artist's way alongside my friend Maxine because the more you're telling people about the things you're interested in and how things are going for you, the more you find out people are like, "Oh, I know a lot about that," or "I'm also interested in that." Like, and you get to do these things with those friends and that community that you've started. And I don't know, I'm just feeling so incredibly grateful. I have community that is both supportive and incredibly inspiring. Um, and I think, wow, this has been such a crazy year um, for my emotional growth, for my mental growth. Um, I think there's just been so much that's happened in the 7 months of 2025 that has really hmm, helped me become a more vocal, more confident, more sure of my art, and more creative, beautiful, uh, big-hearted person. You know, and I just don't know any of that would be possible without having the sense of community that I'm so incredibly blessed to have right now and so privileged to have. And I've noticed the more that I like set the tone for the kind of community I want and the kind of community that I currently have and what works and what doesn't work, I've noticed that I have other random people, like people that maybe I did know in high school or maybe that I worked with during college or that I met when I lived here or when I lived there. Like I have other people who reach out and are like, "Hey, do you want to catch up sometime?" Like, "Hey, like I saw this and it inspired me to also get a camcorder, or it inspired me to do this." Or sometimes even strangers on TikTok, which is so crazy to me, or even YouTube. I have people who reach out to me through all different um, forms of social media for advice or for saying that I've inspired them to do something, or, and it feels like there are just so many layers to the sense of community I have now that I am incredibly, incredibly blessed to have and incredibly grateful for. And yeah, and I think community being such a big part of this year is not something I would have expected. I mean, we're only July 28th right now, and it's 1:08 p.m. Oh my gosh, where's my um oh, it shows 1:09 on my thing, but it's a minute off. And I just feel so incredibly grateful and the artist's way, the artist's way, friends. I don't know. I think I have this big round table now that has room for everyone. And community being the main focus of this year was not something I was expecting, but I just feel so incredibly blessed. So I wanted to make a video diary talking about it so that one day I can look back and I could see that this year was such a big turning point for me in the sense of creating community and welcoming community and nourishing the friendships and relationships and community that I already have. Grateful, 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 and I love you.